Okay. Any questions? So you have a question?
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. So back to the model you draw on the screen about the wall and the shadow. So for people who you said be slaves, and like for the people who create a shadow, that they are trying to create the reality for those people who was called slave. But for those enslaved people, that they think this is like the shadow on wall, those things are the reality, and those things for them are the phenomena of the world. So how could they like to escape them and to chase the real, not the
okay, I understand. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't really understand what's going on. Okay. All right. Let me explain it again. Okay. Okay. You think you know. Okay, but you don't know what's really happening. Okay. All right. These prisoners, they're the ones who have the capacity to create reality. Okay. You understand this? Now the powers behind them. These people have the power to create reality. So what I need to do is trick them into creating the reality that I want them to create. Does that make sense? Okay? So these are the powers that be, and they hide in the shadows. And they give you tricks. They use deception, manipulation, in order to trick you into thinking that you're a slave. And they're tricking you into wanting to create a reality that they want you to create, but which you think you want to create. Okay? And that's how the world works. We are the ones with the power of God. We're the ones with imagination. The ones behind us don't have an imagination. They have power, but they don't have imagination. Okay? So they need to trick us into wanting to create the world they want us to create. And this is how the world works, guys. Right? Why are you in school being a slave? We say, I'm not being a slave, I'm being free. I'm in school so I can get into a good college, make a lot of money, and live a happy life. Okay? You've been tricked. But the truth is, no. You don't need money to be happy. You don't need anything to be happy. You have yourself. Okay? You have your imagination. You have the capacity to love anyone. If you just love your mother, if you just love your father, if you love everyone around you, you'll be happy. You don't need money. You're like, no. I need $1 billion to buy my brother a Porsche. I need to buy my mother a yacht. That's what my mother really wants. You've been tricked. Okay? That's how the world works. So, it's really easy. Just say to yourself, I'm a slave. And I refuse to be a slave. I refuse to listen to what everyone tells me. And that's the hardest thing to do in the world, because it would mean your rejection from reality, right? It would mean, oh, I have no more friends, my parents hate me, I'm a loser, everyone makes fun of me at school. All right? So that's the reality we live in. We fear social isolation. We fear being laughed at. So we just go with the flow, even though in our hearts, we know this is all a lie. This school, what the teachers teach us, it's all nonsense. ChatGPT, it's lying to us all the time. Seeking money, it's going to make me unhappy. Why am I seeking money? Not for yourself, because you fear social condemnation. You fear being laughed at. That's why you want money. That's what you want to do well in school. Once you accept that, you are free. Can you do that? No. You can't do that. Because all your life, you've been brainwashed into thinking like the thing you see is what's real. Okay? Through movies, through school, through parenting, through friends, through reality. Okay? So that's what Plato's allegory of the cave teaches us. So guess what, guys? You'll probably fail. But if you're able to succeed, you'll be truly free and happy and imaginative, and that will allow you to ascend into immortality, Yeah.
So there's the state of being free and the state of being enslaved. Can there be a slave that consciously realizes that they're being enslaved and also consciously refuses to go out to like embrace freedom?
Sorry, that's what a slave is though, right? A slave is someone who wants to be a slave, who chooses to be a slave. Because it's all choice, it's all free will, right? I cannot make you do this. I cannot make you, force you to lie to yourself. You have to choose to lie to yourself. You understand? Don't think you're being coerced. Don't think you are being enslaved. You choose to come to school. You choose to be lied to. You choose to accept the things as they are. Free will is the number one principle of the universe. Okay? When you say like, I'm forced being a slave, you're lying to yourself. It's always been your choice. Okay, does that make sense? It's always been your choice. These prisoners, they can't break those chains. They probably could, okay? And what do you think is gonna happen when this guy who's seen the real world, when he comes and tells everyone, hey guys, I've seen the real world. Let's get out of here. What's gonna happen to him? They're gonna kill him, right? That's what Plato says. If you dare speak the truth and people know the truth, they will kill you for speaking the truth. All right? So don't try to convince anyone of the truth. Just know the truth for yourself and be free yourself. But you can never, ever convince someone who doesn't want to listen. Okay? Don't try it. They'll just kill you. Okay? Did you have a question? Does that make sense? Okay? So this is really important for you to understand. It's always been your choice. But it's easier for you to think, no, it's not my choice. I've been coerced. It's not my choice to come to school. It's not my choice to go get a job, because if I don't get a job, I'm going to starve. No, you won't. Okay? And remember, in the real world, death doesn't really mean anything. Okay? Death just means a release. It's you tricked yourself into thinking that death is the worst thing that could happen to you. When in reality, it's slavery that's the worst thing that can happen to you. You fear death, but you are living death right now. Okay? And that's what the great books will teach you. Yeah?
What about the subjective physical feeling of pain in reality?
Oh, okay, yeah. All right, yeah, so the question is, why do we feel pain and why do we have bodies? And the reason why is that the universe is constructed in a way to promote imagination, okay? Because the universe, what it's trying to do is vibrate more. Vibrate more, which just means imagine more. And if you can't feel pain, if you can't suffer, if you can't lose, if there's no evil, you can't imagine things. Okay, does that make sense? Right? If everything was so easy, nothing would ever have any meaning. Okay, so let's just say you want a really good body, and you go to the gym, and then you just drink some water, you just lie around for like 10 hours, and then you have this amazing physique. Well, that would just not be beneficial to anyone. Okay? If you want to have meaning, you have to struggle for it, and that requires pain and suffering. So even though, the question then is like, if this world is one of death, of one of pain, one of suffering, why are we in this world? To improve our imagination. Okay? Because only through pain and suffering can you truly achieve your full potential as a human. That's why these monks meditate for decades in the snow, because they understand that pain is what allows you to focus your mind. Okay? Without evil, there can be no good. If everyone's good, then what's the point of being good? It's only when everyone is evil and you choose to be good, that's what gives meaning to your life. That's what gives meaning to the universe. Okay. Wait, does that make sense? All right. Any more questions? Okay. And again, I know this sounds kind of strange, but you actually read the great books. First of all, you will recognize that's what they're saying. But also what's more important is they're going to give you the energy, the strength, the power to liberate yourself if you truly open your heart to the great books, okay? So the great books we will start with is the Iliad by Homer, then we'll go to the Odyssey, again by Homer, then the Republic by Plato, the Aeneid by Virgil, which is not a great book by the way, but we have to read it anyway, okay? And then the Divine Comedy by Dante. And then I'll figure out some other books we can read depending on how things go, okay? So I like to read Kant, The Critique of Pure Reason, but we may not have time. Okay, so that's a plan for the semester.